and welcome to my channel. I'm Ghost Prime, and this is MPG-14 God Bomber. This was just recently released a few months later than the Super Ginrai, thankfully, probably, because this was expensive too. Anyway, I got this guy from Amazon Japan. He just came in, not even open yet. I will be opening him in just a second on camera here. I'm excited to get him. I love the Super God Ginrai look, and I'm hoping this thing actually fits well and doesn't break.
I still broke it.
I'm hoping this has a little bit better QC tolerances, those types of things, but we will see when I get it open. So I'm going to go ahead and open this thing up. Super excited to get them. And please like and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get to the review. And before we get to the opening, let's go ahead and take a look at the box. He is God Bomber, Cybertronian Armored Warrior, big-ass cannon, wings. I like the wings being long like that, unlike the Generation 1. There is alt mode and robot mode. On the side, we have robot mode. And on the back, we have a lot of different things. Everything he can do, pretty much. His accessories, everything he comes with here, which I'm going to go over, how he comes apart, and how he looks on Super Ginrai. On the top, Transformers MPG in silver foil, MPG-14 God Bomber. Legal stuff on the bottom, I presume. What side to open? Let's open the trailer side. All right, here he is inside the package. You see he comes in his trailer mode. You got two different stands, giant gun, blast effects. Oh, really nice sword. Now, one thing I noticed right off the bat when I opened it up, this is chrome. Very, very cool. I'm really happy to see chrome. I'm glad it's not just a silver color. That would have upset me. Chrome sword, very nice. Let's see his instruction booklet. He has a collector card there, which is the same image as right back here. We'll get that open in a minute. Let's get this tape off here. Take a look at God Bomber first. Really beautiful chrome. Comes with his weapon. Non-firing. Looks like it's just frictioned in there, but also a nice chrome tip. Blast effects. Ooh, that's really nice. Really nice looking sword. And we got the other. Looks like the Godmasters here. Let's see. There's a bracket here. Two. Looks like adapters for a stand, which did not come with it. So when we get everything cleaned up, we'll take a closer look. Let's open up these instructions, take a look at it. Again, here's his collector card. It has some stats on the back. A booklet for instructions. I do like a booklet for instructions. It is quite extensive. It's everything it comes with. A little bit of a text about them. How to transform. Hopefully clear. Very, very long and very involved. I mean, it is a thick instruction booklet. Blast effect pieces, I believe, can go on the wings here. I believe that that's for another. I'm not sure if these could actually move around. Let me see. Oh, they can. Do this, and then plug that in like so. So he has wings that he can fly, I guess. If a trailer flies, this one does. As you see, I put the gun, peg the gun in the back, and this front piece opens and has a pretty detailed interior. The blue, browns, pink showing up, and there are little slots right in here that these guys should be able to move. Just push directly, just like that. In there. Ooh, I don't want to close this. It's not closing up. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Maybe I'm pushing it all the way in. There we go. Close them up in there, and you can see them right through there. Let me get the light a little better. I don't know if that helps. See them a little better in there. That is very cool. Got an Autobot logo that shows up right in the front. Kind of a metallic look for the stripes here. Interestingly enough, if you made the toy of Ginrai into Power Master Prime, this doesn't really follow. I got to look at my my other Apex armor or Ginrai to see if it looks like the toy for the colors. This one matches more of the cartoon, so if you use the stickers, it wouldn't really match the trailer as well. There's the back. You got some yellow that shows up on these little fins, and you can see silver here, black, blue, silver on rims. There's the underside, and it rolls spectacularly. I'm not sure if there's a place to put this on this particular. I mean, you think there would be storage, but it's really long, like so. It's much longer. All right, so this is so the truck of Ginrai can pull this by itself without the use of the trailer. You can connect this via this little, see a little hinge here, and I can't, if I can get that pulled up. There's a hinge here. There we go. That is tight. Goes like that, and then this goes on like this, and can be pulled that way. This could also connect to the back of the trailer for Ginrai, and it's something that, while I will disconnect it if I have to, I'd rather not take Ginrai out of the cab because I don't want to break any one of those tabs. So please forgive me on that. I'm going to be going over this and then the Super God Ginrai mode because I really don't want to take Ginrai apart unless I absolutely have to. Okay, and before we get into the transformation, let's take a look at a comparison with the original, or in this case, the reissue. So, as you could see, quite a bit bigger, but has a lot of the same similarities. But here's what I was talking about with the stripe, not having that type of logo. Like it did come with the Ginrai, the Super Ginrai figure, so I'm not sure why this one didn't come with any of those stickers. Don't really care. I'm not using the stickers, but you know, you would think it would because it has this sort of design here, where the design still kind of works right there. Interesting choice not to include that what they did in the actual main robot. And there they are from the front. So you can kind of check those out there. Okay, and we'll get to transformation on this, which is a bunch of pieces. We're going to take out this. Take off the big gun. And then first things first, we got these pieces here and kind of move it like that. They fit into a groove here, and this swings around. But I'm going to continue to try to go through this relatively quickly. Okay, now here's where I want to stop and see this tab here. Mine broke on this side.
I'm an idiot!
In the instructions, it says to go ahead and do this, twist it around, and this goes up like that. What it does not say is that there's a tab there. Well, it does, but it doesn't say how to move it into that tab. This is a design flaw, and instead of a tab, should have been a little triangle piece that could have locked into here a little better. But you could easily avoid any breakage by just moving it out from this to this, putting it up and tabbing it in like so, and it will stay. Anyway, let's finish the transformation.
After millions of years, they wake from sleep. Ancient war, they continue to read. Autobots wage their battle to destroy the evil forces of Decepticons. Transformers battle.
And here he is in robot mode. He is actually pretty big. He's very articulated too, which I'll get into. The connection with this gun on the shoulder mount is overly complicated with this little piece. And I think the entire reason of this whole thing is to get this to not point forward, because there's a hole right back there. There's a 5mm peg. You just peg it on. It does essentially the same thing. And you kind of move it over and up, where this is just kind of stationary in the front. But yeah, that's how it looks. And I think it looks great. I really think it looks good. This is one of the things right here. This goes into a channel, and it always pops out of that channel. Maybe I don't have all the pegs in. There's a lot of pegs in here, in the middle and in the back where the wings are. But minor complaint. Let's start off with comparison and bring in the vintage God Bomber there, or a reissue version. So you can see just how big this guy is and how accurate he is to the vintage one, which is really cool. I like how they actually took these holes here and actually made them here. I think that's really cool with the same design all around. Looks very nice, very stylized, but I think it's a really good stylization. These are a little big, and his arms are a bit short. Just a little bit short. I think his arms should come down to about here. So his arms are stumpy, but I'll forgive it because it actually looks pretty good. And here he is with Super Ginrai, and you can see how they go together. They look really good. He's almost as tall as him. He is a very chunky bot. I like it. All right, and let's get into articulation and look at some of these pieces. So here is the head, and the head sculpt is quite nice. It's very articulated, up and down, up pretty high. My stupid camera focusing around all the way. Some down a little bit, but if you kind of, he doesn't really stay, this little piece right here. So if you really push it kind of too hard, he looks down, but it's okay, it works. I just wish it kind of stuck there a little bit more firm. His arms are ratcheted. And that's one thing about this guy. He's super ratcheted. Arms go out to there. 90 at the elbow. He has bicep swivel. And as you can see, a swivel there at the elbow too. Move on to fingers. He has, masterpiece fingers where you have knuckle, wrist articulation, kind of like all up and down. He has typewriter on these 3 fingers with one hinge in the middle. And he has a free index finger. Moving down to the waist, and also this is painted very nice, different gray, kind of sets it apart, almost a warm gray. And he has a waist which doesn't go all the way around, it goes about that. No ab crunch because just the way the nature of this figure. Move that arm out of the way. This goes in this groove and never stays in there. It's all right, as long as this doesn't fall down, it's fine. We open this back piece, same as the inner robot on Ginrai. You get a tab right there, the tab's in there. So got to open that up, and then you can move heavy ratchets, thigh swivel, some wheel detail there. Legs at the knee here could go a little over 90. Again, super ratchets. Also, really nice ratcheting ankles. And his toe doesn't really move down, but it will move up. So overall, that makes for, he does kick. Backward and forward. again with those ratchets. Oh, there it goes out. Hold that there. So yeah, overall, he's pretty articulated. You get this guy in some really nice poses, and he cleans up super nice. Kind of a really good silhouette from the side. I don't know if you can really see the wings there, but he's got some chunk there. He looks good. He feels pretty solid. Overall, I think they did a better job with this one than they did with Ginrai. Oh, I always forget one piece of articulation. These two are ratcheted and do go all the way around. Yeah, so I think they did a pretty good job on this. He can hold the sword. The peg hole is on the knuckle, so it moves with the fingers. I don't like that. I prefer having a palm and being in the palm. They're trying to get the hand too articulated, and I think that hinders what he could hold. Anyway, you know what? I'm just going to try to do it like this. Let's see if that'll work. It's just a pain to get it in there. I'm just not going to deal with it. He can hold it if you could get it in there. The blast effect pieces can be used in his chest. And in the arm guns there. And this gun could come off. And he could hold this as well right there. He's got masterpiece love kind of pegs there, but it's such a pain in the ass to get him to hold it, and then when it does, it just falls out. It's not very secure. I don't like it. I do want to point out that there is one more way to do this. If you keep this peg like that, move this in the front, he has a peg hole right there, and that will allow it to pretty much sit in the same spot, but you get rotation and lift out of it, so you can kind of get him to lift it away and this kind of stuff like this. I like that a little better personally. And lastly, he does come with a stand. Well, it comes with a piece for a stand, which kind of think it's supposed to go on here like this. Maybe that's for the big one. Yeah. So there's a tab there. That goes in like that. And that's how you could use them if you have a stand. If you bought any one of the Seekers or Jetfire, you'll have a stand. Pity, these things come with a bunch of stuff, but not a stand, which is really irritating. So now we're going to start the process of taking him all apart and putting him on Super Ginrai.
After millions of years, they wake from sleep. Ancient war, they continue to read. Autobots wage their battle to destroy the evil forces of Decepticons. Transformers battle cry. Robots in disguise. Autobots fighting on crushing Decepticons. Megatron is here to conquer. This can go on no longer. Optimus stands brave and true. In this war, they both pursue. Transformers battle cry. Robots in disguise. Autobots fighting on crushing Decepticons.
And here we have him in Super God Ginrai mode. I don't know, something must have shifted. Now his head won't sit down flat. Whatever, it's okay. It looks okay. Looks good. It's very big. This thing is what they did in the mainline version, and it's kind of weird to have an ankle there. I get it, because that's his foot, technically, so it works. I think it looks weird. It just looks weird to me. It's just my eye. A couple things, I'm not a big fan of this. How it just kind of sits out there. I don't mind the backpack, which as you can see is a little back heavy. Kind of wanted to break apart there. Nothing attaches incredibly securely, but it's not terrible. I've already knocked off his shoulder once, so you can really see from the back how it's just a piece that goes on the shoulder. You know, he can hold these guns in the same manner he does in the regular mode. See how this just comes right apart? That just pegged in at the 5mm peg. Kind of like the originals, which I guess is a cool throwback, but at the same time, I think they could have done something maybe with the flap here, something a little more sturdy. That is definitely a gripe that I have. Maybe it doesn't hold. Maybe it does. I don't know. It's really small. Yeah, he could hold it. Hold it in his hand, like so. Let's see about that sword that I couldn't get God Bomber to hold. All right. He's got his sword. And I guess you can move out like that. Same articulation, really. One of the things that you could do with this piece is you could get it on the stand by moving this down. So you have this little hole here for the stand and this hole for a blast effect. So it could look like he has a shooting, firing fist. If you want to display it that way, it's something you can do. Otherwise, just kind of leave it on its arm. Now, as far as the stand goes, this larger stand will connect in his crotch here, and he could stand about this far up off the ground. But he's pretty sturdy in this mode, so I don't have any problem with him standing up. I'm going to move him kind of like this, standing straight with his legs together, so we could do some size comparisons. And let's start out with the vintage original, or in this case, a reissue of the vintage original. So you can see just how high and large this thing is. And there he is with the Legends version. He's much more stable than the Legends version, that's for sure. The wings are much better on this one than they are on this one. Lastly, here he is with the MP-14 Optimus Prime. Shattered Glass version, I don't have the original, but he's the same size as MP-10 and all that. So you can just get a good idea of the height on this guy. He is fairly large, and I have no idea where I'm going to put him on my shelf. So before I get into my final thoughts, I do want to point out one thing. I had the feet on backwards. These do fit on the side. There is a port right there. I know you guys were probably screaming, and some of you probably don't watch to this, so I'm going to get comments who did not see my update. But there. Now he has feet guns. Feet guns are cool. Now on to final thoughts. Final thoughts wise, he is top heavy. And if I move him in certain poses, he just likes to fall backwards. That is probably the reason for the stand. I love all the chrome. I don't like how these pieces keep falling off. Like almost every time I touch these pieces, these shoulder pieces fall off. I don't like that. The shoulder weird piece here where it comes out to make his shoulders wider is okay, but it doesn't lock into anything. And it provides a gap right there, which I think is aesthetically unpleasing. However, he looks pretty good. He's got some good features. I don't understand why that Super Ginrai comes with Power Master Optimus Prime stickers, but the Apex armor or God Bomber doesn't come with stickers to make him into the Apex armor, which would be the sticker here, a sticker here, maybe some actual Autobot logos on the arms, stickers on the feet, other things like that. It could have been brought a little bit more like the toy. It's only a complaint because Super Ginrai had it already. And that is something that I wish came with it. The accessories are pretty good. I like what they did with it. Overall, I think it looks really nice. So be careful with those arms when you're putting them into God Bomber. Those little tabs, make sure you twist and latch, and you'll be fine. Not like me and just smash it in there and break it.
I'm not very smart.
So yeah, let me know what you think of this guy in the comments, and I'll see you in the next review.